Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to put together some hair barrettes. Now I've already got them designed, and I have the colored, the pieces that I wanted painted, already painted, so we just got to put them together. So this is 3 large hair barrettes, and I hope you're going to enjoy making them with me. Each of the hair barrettes are in these little baggies. So I need to get out my silicone mat. I use a silicone mat when I'm doing either painting or gluing. Keeps it from getting anything goobery on my regular mat. So now we just have to decide which one I want to start with. Get our glue out. I think we're going to go with our fairy here. So what we're going to do with her is we're going to take and put these black pieces on either end, so and so. Then this guy's going to go in the middle. Then our little fairy will go right on the top with one of our flower sprigs on one side and the other on the other side. Then we're going to put this little hummingbird on this side and this other little flower sprig on this side. So it's going to look like that. So the first thing we want to do before we get started is we're going to cut the rings off the fairy and the hummingbird. So we'll get our clippers. Now I've used my heavy duty clippers for this. This one looks relatively thin enough. It probably doesn't need it, but I prefer using my heavy-duty ones, then I don't have to worry about them not being strong enough. So we're going to cut these little pieces off here. Now that that's done, I'm going to get my file. And we're going to file it a little bit to get them so they're look respectable. So the fairy needs more than the hummingbird did, because her ring was closer to her head. But I think that's good. So then the next thing we want to do is we need to get our pieces bent so they'll work on our hair barrette. Now I'm going to check to make sure my hair barrette is good and strong. It is. So it's ready. And we'll put these little pieces up here until we get our pieces bent. So now I like to use this cool bracelet bender to bend my pieces. So we're just gonna then we will, whoop, want this pointy piece over to this side, so that's why I'm making sure this is going in this direction. So now I'm going to fit these to my barrette. So this is going to go like that. This point needs to go down a little more. See how there's a gap right there? So we'll just bend it. Still a little bit pointy, gappy. So that's better. So this side's good. Now we'll see about this side. Now see, this one has a gap right through the middle here, so we need to get that open, closed back up some. And now here's our middle piece. Again, it's a little bit out of whack, so we got to work it. That's good. Now our fairy's wings are going to stick up if we don't get her bent. See how that sticks up like that? So we're going to take our bender And we'll bend our fairy's wings as well. Now we'll see how she sits here. She's sitting pretty good, so that's good. Now we have our flower sprigs. This one doesn't need a lot, but just a teeny bit. So we're just going to put it in and just give it a tiny little tiny notch. And the hummingbird probably doesn't need anything. It might need, nope, it looks good. So now this one has a bit more of a curve than the other side, so we'll notch it just a bit more. And I think we got our flower just a bit too much, so we'll bend her back some. And then this one will sit right here like so. So now we just have to start gluing these pieces together. Now I tend to do one at a time, but because we're going to have to probably pin down these pieces, we won't be able to put these on for a while. So as I get these on and let it sit aside some to dry, we will start on our next one. So we'll just put some glue all along the bar. Now I use E6000 transparent industrial glue. They do make one specifically for jewelry making, but I like that in industrial. It's pretty strong, and I don't have to worry about it them coming loose. Now see, we've got these two in place pretty much. It's gonna need to turn just a hair's breadth, and then this one needs to go over the top. So we need this whole cornered here to be glued, so we'll turn this over and we're gonna glue through this area here. Now I'm recapping it every time because sometimes it likes to come out on its own if you're not careful with it. So now I'm going to try and center it over those two black pieces. And then I'm going to get some little pins. I have these little clothespins. And I've used these many times before, so they may be stuck together already and not usable. Like that. See, it won't open up. And that happens. This one opens, but it's got a glue bridge here, so we got to break that out. Now I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to check to see where my barrette blank is sitting. Needs to go that way just a hair's breadth, and then we'll pin that in place. And I like to put in 2 on either side because otherwise it sometimes wiggles down towards the one that's separate. Now we're going to turn it back and verify that we're still look to be pretty much in the center of our piece. And then I'm going to take some more pins and I'm going to pin this piece in place. Come here, you. Now we do have an option right here. Got to make sure I've got it turned the right direction. I like it to open with to the left-hand side. So now we need to see, will these fit on here with the pins in place? She is almost all right, but she needs to come this direction just a little bit. So let's see if we can get the pins adjusted some so that we can do that. And yes, now her wings are right there in that V. And so we can glue her into place. The other pieces, of course, I might be able to put the hummingbird and the little flower sprig in, but not the two big ones because the pins are sitting in their way. So we'll glue her. And we'll put her into place, just like so. Isn't she pretty? So we're going to take our fairy then, and we'll put this up here along with these other little pieces, and we'll get our next piece out. So let's start with the bison, I think. So we'll keep those near where they need to be at. And we're going to dump this package out. Now this package is not, these are all large hair barrettes that we're working on. I always test, make sure they'll open up and close good. We have this big bison and two little bison and some leaves. So these little bison have some notches on them, so we have to cut those off. So how this is going to work is that these two will go on either side like so, with this one in the middle. Come on, get out of the way, leaf. Then our big bison is going to sit up here with this leaf underneath. Then our little bison are going to go on either end. This is too low, it needs to go up there. Same with this one, actually. And then these little leaves are going to go right here with the little bison. So it will look like so. So again, the first thing we want to do is to push our pieces off here, sort of in the area they're going to end up being. And then we want to get our bracelet bender out again and bend these pieces. So just choose one and start bending. Now I try to put them down in a specific order so that when I actually glue them, they are on the right side, because they need different bends, so you want to make sure you're keeping them in the right order. So that one has a over here, so there we go. This one will have less bend. See how it's got a big gap here? So this one needs to have its gap reduced by pulling up on our piece and making it straighter. And then here is our middle piece. And again, it has a big gap in the middle. So we need to get that straightened out some. So there we go. Now, I'm not sure if the little guys are going to need much bending. Looks like they do need some, though. But the big guys should need quite a bit. But we will bend these little guys just a bit here. That looks like enough. This guy needs his bend just a little bit too. And I think I may have bent him too much. See how his front foot is sticking up a little bit? If that happens, because you're doing brass and it's pretty heavy, you want to just reverse your pliers and just sort of push it again. Now I've gone too far the other direction. See, it's got a wow going the other direction. So just a little bit, and I think he's good. Now this leaf, needs a little bit too, just a little bit. So we just put it in and give it a light little tap. Okay, this one needs a bit more than that one because it is on this other side. There we go. Now this bison, the big bison, is going to stick up some, at least in his hindquarters. So we need to get a bend in him. Put him back in place, see how he's doing. That looks pretty good, actually. I think we're good. Yep. And now let's see about this leaf. Maybe just a little bit, not too much. So here we go. Now we need to start gluing these pieces on. So we take off our pieces, push them up to their top, up here, in the order where they would come on, be put on our hair barrette. So now we need to glue down our pieces here. And I squeeze that and you see how the glue is already coming out. And that's why I always close it up. So you on, and as you can see, they come very close to each other. These two pieces are pretty much go across the whole bridge here. So this one needs to go. It's going to go like this. So we need to glue again, leave these two unglued, but the rest of it needs glue. So say I put my finger on the place it doesn't need glue, and we'll just smear some glue everywhere else. Okay. Now I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to put it in place. Now we need to get some more pins. And we're going to hold this right here where there's not so much glue. And I'm going to start pinning this up, just like I did the other one, with two on either side of this piece. Oop, come here, you. And then again, we want to check this. Make sure our pieces are pretty much still straight in here. And hook this baby up here where they come together. Now, because of the size of the bison, I do not believe we can put it in place yet. No. So, we're going to take our pieces and take our base piece, put it right here. And then we're going to put our bison. These two go on this side. This is middle. And these two go on this side. And now we're going to get out number 3 of our hair barrettes. Now this one is dragonflies and frogs. And the base is a lot the same. Now I was considering alcohol inking these, but I don't think I'm going to. So what we're going to do is this is going to sit in the middle. This one's going down first. Then these are coming like so. This frog is going to sit on this side like so. Then this is portraying a lily pad. It's going to sit sort of like so, with our bigger frog by it. And then our big dragonfly is going to sit through the middle here. Like so. So, of course, we need to clip off our circles, our rings again. So here goes this one for froggy number 1. This one, I'm only going to cut the top half off, like so, because that way we have some little antennae. And we'll cut our big frog. And I'm not sure they need filed even. They look pretty good. But I am going to take the file to his nose a little bit. Now he looks good. How about you, little frog? And I'm not going to worry about the dragonfly because we've made him have antennae. So let's start bending these pieces so that they will fit on their hair barrette. Again, we're going to test our hair barrette, make sure it's working all right. Looks to be. And then we will start bending these pieces so that we can hook them up. Like I say, this piece, this time, instead of going on top, is going to go below. So it's the first thing we're going to test. And as you can see, it needs to have a little bit less bend, but not very much less. So that's good. Now we'll go with this one again. Again, we need less bend. So that's pretty good. And now this one. This one's actually pretty good. So now, since I'm going to put the dragonfly right through the center, I don't think I need to worry about bending it at all. So it should be fine. This guy's going to go over the top of here, so his little legs are going to need to bend a little bit. Not atrocious lot, but a little bit. Okay, that works. And then this guy is going to go on this side. And he's going to need a little bend. The leaf, I think, is going to be fine. So he's going to go sideways like this, so I'm going to get his legs a little bit bent. There we go. So now we just have to start gluing these pieces together. So again, we're going to start by putting on this big silver piece right through the center here, and then we'll put the side pieces on. Oops, this piece first, Rose, not these. So let's sort of center it into there. Now we'll want to go this whole area right here with the glue. So put you down right there. And now we'll do the same with this other side. There we are. Now I need to get some more pins and pin this down. I'm going to start by pinning right here. And then we'll go up to the nose of this piece. Oops, we've turned. And see what I mean by it can turn itself? So now we need to turn it back. And it has slid up quite a bit here. It should be way down here. Now we'll put pins here and here, and then we'll tip this over here and get a couple more for this tip here. That one doesn't want to open. Go number 1. And number 2. Number 2 has some glue in between, so I have to pull it out. And there we go. Now this wants to go this way. We want to make sure it goes this way. And I see that I have a glob of something right here that looks like it's dry glue. So I'm going to pull that out. Now our dragonfly may be able to go in right now. No, that pin is going to stop him. Though I could turn it just a little bit, go over here with it, and he could go in there right now if I wanted to, because his wing is not going to sit flat, so it doesn't matter if it's sitting up on top of there, as long as his body will sit flat where it's at, which it will. So we're going to take some glue and put it straight down the dragonfly's body here. Just go right through there. Make sure you get plenty. And then we're going to put it down into place. Bing. So there he is. He's sitting in place now. And we do have to remember that which way these pieces go. So now, since we've waited that long, let's pull these pieces forward. Put our frogs back here. And we will see if this one is dry enough to work with again. So we will start by pulling off our pins and seeing if it's sitting in here good. It seems to be. Now I see I have a glob of glue right there, which I don't want. So I'm going to get my tweezers out. And we're going to pull that little glob of glue off of right there. Now, you do have to be careful when you're doing that because, let's face it, the glue is not entirely dry, but I think it's sticking down fine. It seems to be. So now we want to take and put our side pieces on. There's some glue right there. And this one is going to go like so. With our hummingbird up here. And then this one's going to go this way with our other little flower sprig right here. So now we just have to glue them down. So we'll start by putting our big flower sprigs on. Come on, you get out of the way. Here goes number one. It goes right sideways right here. Like so. Then we'll put the hummingbird on this side. Goes right here. Drop. Now the other side. And our little tiny sprig. And it goes right in there. So other than cleaning it, this one is now finished. So there is our fairy. Isn't she cute? So we're going to now sit her aside because she's just got to dry a little bit so that we can see if we need to clean anything up. We're going to bring our bison back down here. And we're going to see if we can spot of glue right there. So we'll see if this one's ready to go. Now this one is sticking up a little bit right here. So I think I will probably put a pin back on right there and scoosh them. Same with this side. But this side is looking pretty good. Well, that one's up just a hair's breadth. Let's see if I need to squish it down too. So let's see if we can get our big bison on there with the pins back still in place. And it looks like he's going to go. So no problem. So, because he's so hollow, what you want to do is we want to get glue along all of his edges. And you want to get a pretty goodly amount. Now you don't need to fill the middle up. That would take a lot of glue because he is pretty hollow here. But you do want quite a bit right here and right here. And what that's going to do is when you flip it around and put it into place, which we're doing right now, that now allows that glue to settle down from there to down here, and it will hold it in place because of, like I said, it's settling from here to here. That settling will also help with any places that it's not down all the way because we put glue everywhere. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to put this leaf on yet, but we can put on our little bison. This one goes on this side over here. And this one goes on the other side. So now we have a little bison herd here, though these bison are obviously in the distance. So let's get you in place. I feel like I have a little glue on my fingers, so we need to clean that up some. Now we have these two longer leaves, which are supposed to go underneath here and over here. So we can get those put in place. Now the tricky part of these is they're thin, so you're going to get your glue on places you may not want it to be at. So just going to tap it into place there. Now we'll put the other one on. Tap it down into place somewhat. And then the last piece is this leaf here. And you don't have to put that leaf on if it feels like it might be too much. Let's see what it does when I pull the pins off and put that down. See if it's going to look too much. Stop sticking to me. So there, that's going to go just like that. This one still needed pinned a little bit, but we just need to put this last leaf on, and this one is ready to set aside to dry, and then we will check and see if it needs any cleaning. So we put the leaf on right there. And in there, go in there between the little bison legs. And I saw a spot of glue hanging up right here, so we want to get that off. There we go. Now the second one is ready to be set aside, and we'll bring forward our frogs. So we'll pull the pins off our frog, off this one, see how well it's sitting. If everything looks good, then we will grab the frogs and start putting those on. Looks pretty sturdy. So there's just the dragonfly. Then this is going to go right here. So we'll glue it on first. So there we go with this piece. And this is going to imitate a lily pad. Then we're going to take this frog and it's going to sit on top right here like so. Come on, you, get over there some so the frog can sit down. There we go. And the frog is going to sit on this like so. So we'll glue him, and he looks like he needs to have his leg bent just a little bit more. So we will get the bender back out, and we will bend this leg just a bit more. I think that's better. So now we'll glue this guy on. And again, we have that issue of the deep hole here. So we want to put a glue all around the edges of that hole so that when the glue settles down as you tip it, it will bring it down so it comes down to our pieces better. So there's him. Now we just need this jumping frog on the other side. So I'm going to do his little legs in through his body and the other legs. Now if this has extra glue sitting around, it's not a big deal. And the reason for that is, unless it looks nasty, this dries transparent. So it's going to not show that much, other than it's going to look like a shiny spot when it's all dry. So there is our 3 hair barrettes. Now the only thing left to do is to clean them up of any excess glue that we think needs to come off. So we're going to look at our hummingbird. I don't see anything right off the bat that needs to clean up. Our bison is again looking pretty darn good. We just need to pull these pins some. Oh, this one is pulling up some here. So we're going to get another pin and put right here to hold that tight. And lastly is our frogs, of course. So we're just going to let them dry for a while and see if they will, and check them when they're finished drying. So I don't see any issues with our fairy. I think she's done. Isn't she pretty? So I think she's finished. And our frogs, I'm not seeing any real issues with them either. We got a little extra glue here, but I'm not going to worry about it because it's, like I said, it's going to dry clear and not be a problem. There is a spot right here. I want to see if I can get some of it out of here, though. So there we go. We got that out. So I think our frogs and dragonfly are good now. I don't see any other excess places I'm worried about. Oh, here's a spot right here. Come on, baby, come off there. There we go. That looks much better. So this one is finished as well. Now I do notice we have a little bit of rough spot right here, so I'm going to take this, my pin, and touch his back off up a little bit because he has a little bit of a rubbed spot there. And so this one is finished. So here's what it looks like. Frogs and dragonfly. Now our last one is our bison. Now, from what I can tell, we're good as far as glue, except it doesn't, it's wanting to pull here and here. So we are going to have to let this dry a little bit more so that our pieces are, when they dry down better, they stick better. But that's what this one is going to look like. But I am going to put the pins back in place. Other than that, I think we're good. This side is pulling up some, so I want it to dry down a little better. And so I'm just going to pin it, but I don't think it needs any cleaning. So I think they're all three finished and ready to go in the drying rack. They have to dry for 24 hours before they're good to use, but I think we're good. Aren't those pretty? All three of those. There we go. 3 hair barrettes. Our fairy. I really like her. I think she's pretty. Our bison, though he still has some pins on him because he's, I want those spots to grab hold a little better. So we'll leave the pins on until it dries better. And lastly, the frogs and the dragonfly. Now, like I said, I had considered alcohol inking the silver so it was more blue, but decided against doing so. So there they are. That's our 3 hair barrettes. I like designing a hair barrette. I think they're pretty. And I started making these because I couldn't find any I liked myself. So I make these hair barrettes, and I enjoy making them. So anyway, this has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we've been working on 3 hair barrettes. See you later. Bye-bye.